My name is Alton Kennedy. I am dyslexic, and that's the main reason, that's the only reason why I've joined this course for the last 2 months.
My name is Rosie Moore. I'm 60 years old and I'm an Irish Catholic girl, first generation, living in Wandsworth, London.
So my name is Janet Morgan. I am what is called a neurodiversity specialist, and that's just a fancy word for saying that I work with people who have learning differences like dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, ADHD, and sometimes on the autistic spectrum. I work with people in the workplace and I work with people in universities and colleges. And I've been working with A2I for the past couple of years. It's been an absolute privilege, specifically on the Black Minority Ethnic and Dyslexic course, which has been running for the past couple of years.
For the last 8 weeks, it's been definitely an enlightening experience. I feel that I've been on a journey, and it's more or less about reflection. First of all, I've never been in a room with a group of people with dyslexia. That's the first. So it's a way that how I process the situation around that, and I've learned over the last 8 months how to take that on board and interact with people, and I'm not alone. Being obviously known that I'm dyslexic is one thing, but I've always been alone. I didn't know anyone else apart from people in the public eye. So that was a really big thing of actually dealing with people on a day-to-day basis.
My understanding of dyslexia was complete confusion. I had no idea what it was. I knew that I was diagnosed with dyslexia 6 years ago, with profound dyslexia and profound dyspraxia. But I've had a lifetime of failing exams and having to work very, very hard to achieve anything academically. I always felt I was doing things wrong, always felt that I was being very thick but couldn't tell anybody, kept it all to myself. Making lifelong decisions, I always felt incredibly nervous and made life very, very hard for myself, but I thought I was just genuinely very, very thick. So it wasn't until a tutor got hold of me doing a postgrad study and thought that I definitely had pronounced dyslexia, and she put me forward at City University to have a dyslexic assessment, where I was found to have profound dyslexia and dyspraxia to the degree where the tutor thought it's the only score system she's seen where somebody like me was able to live independently, because people with similar scores before had been very dependent and not able to live an independent life.
As black men, we, on a general point, we're not talking enough, and dyslexia is just part of the ongoing subject of where we're not talking. So amongst that, yes, I agree with you there. We just don't talk about enough situations, but dyslexia will fit into that, and it's not something nice to talk about. Maybe possibility people are thinking that you're stupid, that's the word that's often used, or you're slow. So it's putting that another pressure on black men. So that is probably why some people don't talk about it.
To the participants on this course, a lot of them say this has been the first time that I've had an opportunity to work with people who look like me and are in the same situation as me. So I think it is really important to be able to reach people who have learning differences, and sometimes that will work in all communities, but there are still a lot of people in Black and minority ethnic communities who still feel that either dyslexia is something that doesn't happen within their communities, or they do feel a sense of shame or stigma around that. And there are all sorts of reasons for that. But what we wanted to do was just create a space that was safe for them to come and explore that, whether they had a formal identification or not, and then we could move forward in terms of looking about learning new strategies and also getting a stronger sense of identity and feeling positively about their learning difference.
I think dyslexia in the Irish community is hardly given any validation or any visibility at all. I certainly have had more understanding with dyslexia with the black and ethnic minority community within London, but when I go home to County Kerry, which is predominantly an agricultural community, I rarely hear the dyslexia word mentioned, although because of my experience, my two young godchildren have actually been tested, and both of them have dyslexia, and getting speech therapy help and psychology help with leading their lives, and they're very young, so that's very positive. But that's the first time I've had any hearing of any dyslexia validation in Ireland.
So every teaching situation is a learning situation. I think for me, what I've learned the most is from the discussions, because people have kept things in their heads for a long time, and then suddenly they feel able to share what's really going on with them, and that unlocks the potential. So people have talked about their families and their experiences in their families, and some of those have been positive, a lot of them have been not so positive. What we've been able to do is put that into context. So for example, within BME communities, look at the education system that many parents may have grown up with and encountered when they first came here, which may mean that some people have either been over-identified with dyslexia, under-identified or misidentified. And I think without that space to actually look at some of the issues around identity, to have a look at the education system and how people have come to know about dyslexia, then it's hard for people to find solutions to actually move forward in a way that matches with their potential.
It's long overdue. First and foremost, this has to be a national thing, because if you do the maths, there's 10% of people that's got dyslexia. So what you're doing is amazing.
The course that we have is the only one that I know of anyway, where there is that space for people to come, reflect, reframe, and actually talk about their experiences in their life and know that they won't be judged, know that they can feel confident that they will get some strategies that will move them forward. So
I think you've saved my life, because I'm now in my 60th year, and it was a pretty bleak landscape, if I'm honest, and you've given me a language and a validation that I feel now that I can go into my 60th year with a lot more confidence and understanding, and I can't thank you enough, and there's no doubt about it, it's a life changer for me.
The message for the funders is to listen to the participants and you'll see the transformation. You don't have to listen to me. Just listen to the stories of the participants, where they were when they came in, where they are now. For many people, it's a new beginning. So their journey is just starting. The next phase of their journey is just starting, and it's also about supporting in a different way for people to continue on their journey. But
it's game-changing, life-changing. Please fund these projects, fund more. I need more. 8-10 weeks is only the tip of the iceberg for me, but it's really needed. There's 10% of the population in the UK that have dyslexia. Where are they? How are they coping? What's going on? As a life, to actually get through your life every day, to have an enjoyment in your life. I actually hid from life. I became quite reclusive, and I didn't tell everybody the whole story because I was so ashamed, but now I can. Thank you so much, Lizzie and Jeanette, and thank you to the funders. You've no idea of how you have changed my life and given me hope for my future. Thank you.
But the transformation that we have seen, people who wouldn't speak when they came in on day one, stepping forward with confidence and actually telling their story and having words of encouragement for other people who are where they were. You can see the complete transformation, which is going to mean that people who currently aren't working and can't see a way forward in employment now can see ways into employment. People who are in employment but haven't put themselves forward for that promotion or have held themselves back, can suddenly see new opportunities for themselves, new careers, or moving forward. That's the difference that a course like this can make, and it's the funding and the commitment of Lizzie and her team, the A2I, that